Hi there. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to be working on manifestation through our life force energy breath. And I really love this technique because I've used this technique with clients before and used it for myself to open up pathways. Because a lot of the times when we are wanting to create or we want something, we hold our breath. We hold our breath in anticipation. We hold our breath in tension. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to unleash that breath. So that way, when we are breathing that prana, which is our life force through breath, we are activating in connection to not only our higher selves, but to divine creator through a process of what I love is called theta healing. And theta healing is all through thought form, but also connecting it to an emotion. So the two must come in synergy to create this experience and create not only your feelings into reality, but to witness actions will start stimulating in your environment to get you to that place of manifestation. So I'm really excited about doing this today. What we're going to do, my dear, is we're going to first ground and shield. I waited till I got to get together with you so that we can do this together. And I'm very excited. So as I'm going to be leading you in belief systems, you're going to practice through that. You already have your information that you wanted. Did you make your choice on what you wanted to manifest today?
I did.
Yay. Okay, so fantastic. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to work on that. But before we do, let's go ahead and ground because I need to ground. And anytime we're going to do any kind of manifestation, we really should. We got to get deep seated into our body. And what we call is aligning in the center of our chakras. So that way we're this beautiful, magnificent conduit as we are going to be putting our thoughts, our emotions, and what we want to create and the goals that we want to hit onto. So as you would normally do, you're going to have your both soles of your feet planted onto the ground, hip width apart. You can place your hands, if you want, up for receiving on top of your palms. And for those of you that are activated in any form of energetic attunement and symbols, this is a great time to activate it in you now. Okay, we're going to go ahead and now visualize yourself anchoring your physical and metaphysical body like a tree trunk. Your feet are the roots. We're branching deep into the core of the earth. And if you're having a difficult time in visualizing, you could just say in your mind is powerful. The brainwaves will create and connect for you. As we are deeply rooted, we are grounding our life force energy into Mother Earth. And we thank Mother Earth in our thoughts and our heart for this beautiful connection that we accept and receive. As Mother Earth invites us to connect with her, you're going to imagine and feel and acknowledge that her energy is moving up through the soles of your feet, going upwards to each chakra, the root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, soul star, moving upwards into the gateway chakras. And we're going to connect to this beautiful ball of white light. This is coming into our higher selves, into our higher consciousness, and connecting to divine creator. And in your mind, you can say, I am connected to divine creator now. Wonderful, Amy, you already are. So am I. Beautiful. Now what we're also going to do is we're going to shield our energy. So let's see what color energy that stands up for you. That is your highest and best. I'll check for you, Amy. Green is your color. I'll check for myself. Blue is mine. Dark blue. Mine is dark blue. So you're going to envelop yourself in that color that's meant for your energetics today. And you can imagine yourself, a lot of times people can see themselves like in a dome, in a bubble, in a balloon. I just see a big blue auric bubble. Yours is a big green auric bubble, and you're inside. You're completely enveloped in that bubble. And in your mind, you will say, I shield my energy. I do not allow others or disturbing effects of other vibrational energies. I do not allow them to permeate my strong, impenetrable shield. I do not allow you in. My energy is of my own. And I like to push out my bubble, make it nice and wide so I can be comfortable in there. And that's me acknowledging and sensing that I'm enveloped in this beautiful auric color of a shield that I'm in. And take your nice deep cleansing breaths. Okay, Amy, you're beautifully shielded in your shield. Good job. Wonderful. Okay, and then you can bring yourself back into your consciousness here. You'll feel even different, right? You notice how you start feeling more relaxed or calm. And that's what we're doing is we're aligning ourselves because the world outside is constantly pulling on us for things that we need to do and all those things. And when we're going to go to create this is why I tell people I got to go into, meditation, and people don't understand what I do. This is one of my practices that I do to prep my vessel when I'm about to start channeling. So this is one of the ways that I like to use, and I still use this even when it comes to this manifestation technique, is first make sure I'm deeply rooted and grounded, because when we're going to go higher in our consciousness in the theta waves, you're going to have a tendency to kind of pull out. So what we did was we anchored ourselves first, acknowledging that we will be connected to divine, but we must stay placed here. Secondly, we are doing a shield, because when we are moving up into higher frequency levels, we are not allowing any other disturbances of others, whether it's on the material plane or in the spiritual realms. We're not allowing them in. We're acknowledging that we placed a shield, so you are not allowed to violate through the universal laws. So this is why we do that as well. And so today what we did was we had discussed a while back, Amy, what you wanted to manifest. And what we had talked about is that you must know what you're going to manifest, because if you don't know what you want, then we have that energy of being wishy-washy, right? And we can't have wishy-washy energy, because if we have wishy-washy energy, then we get wishy-washy outcomes. So it's like we need to know what we want, and don't worry about the other aspects that you want. Take one manifestation at a time. And I do suggest that not only today, Amy, that this is something that you would continue to practice, because you are constantly shifting your mindset by going into the theta brainwaves. When we go into the theta brainwaves, we become very aligned and more focused. And I had spoke about how it's so important, especially you're in this time right now. I had done a video earlier in October explaining with these eclipses, you must simplify and focus. And that's what you're doing. So you're really aligned to the planetary cycles to also connect you to this cosmic connection to get there. So what a perfect timing that you're doing this in. And as you work with that concept of manifesting, your belief systems will also align more accordingly to what you're creating. Because when we are acknowledging the brain, the thoughts, the brain has to be focused. If we're like, oh, I wish, or I want it, but I don't know, then that's exactly what we reap. So what we're going to be doing is everything's going to be through a thought form and through your faith system. You don't have to be religious, but I do tell people you do have to believe in yourself. And if you can't believe in yourself, then the chances are you're not going to believe for anything to come into your reality. Because if you have no faith, then you can't move the mountains to the direction that you're calling into. So what we're going to be working on, and the reason why I'm working with you today, is that you have been very good at honing, disciplining, practicing, and creating through your mind. And everything that we're doing in the metaphysics is through our thought forms and through our emotions. So if you believe that it is possible to create something into the physical realm using the power of the creator of all that is and connecting your faith and your emotions, then it will be done. But if you don't believe that creator is going to have your back, and if you don't believe in yourself, this technique will not work. So that's why I tell people every statement, thought, and action is reflected by what we are manifesting in our lives. So if you don't believe it, then you can't receive it. But because you do believe, you've seen enough, Amy, in your timeline, not only in this lifetime, but in previous life cycles, that your power of thought, your emotion with created action has given you wonderful things and not so wonderful things. So you already know how this works. So remember, every decision is made upon the mirror reflection of what we choose to create. That's really important. Every decision is made upon the mirror reflection of what we choose to create. What we think, what we say, has a direct bearing upon whether our manifestations are for our benefit or detriment. Remember, everything I say, I always say, welcome it. If you're not sure how to start the statement, thank you in advance for I welcome, I invite, I attract, I accept, I receive. We don't go in with an intention of I would like, can I have? No. It's a directive. That's what theta healing is. There is no emotion of human doubt when you're working with theta healing. It is. When we look at the resonance frequency of enlightenment, illumination, the life view that's what that is. So it's the same concept. This is what I love about theta healing. You have to put those doubts, put them in a box, lock that up. Because if you have doubts, then theta healing won't work. If one says they're constantly poor, they can't ever find love, they are right. How sad is that? If one says, oh, I'm terrible at finding love, or I don't ever have money, they keep authorizing, creating that they don't have it. So I say, I don't have it at this time, but it's on its way. I'm making shifts already. It's happening for me. I just shared even before we started on our class today that just even doing my candle work, using this manifestation technique that I do for everyone's candles, that going into the theta by completely entrusting and believing, that's how we shift. And that's why I tell my clients, you must believe with me. And even in holy text, it says, if two or more are gathered in the same resonance frequency, same faith, same thought form, then it's going to happen. But if the person who we're doing it for doesn't believe and all the other people believe, guess what? They still can't receive. Isn't that terrible? Because it's not about us. We're here to amplify, like a crystal quartz comes in with other crystals, and crystal quartz is powerful on its own. That's you. But then we add these other properties that could be other people, resources, and other abilities. We all come together as a cluster. Now we just empowered, we amplified that power, that property. So that's what we're doing today. That's why I'm here with you today. I'm going to back you up. I'm your crystal quartz. I'm coming in. I'm going to amplify all of your properties, of all the variations of your powers and abilities. So that's why I'm joining you today. So keep in mind, the utmost importance is to truly believe. This is where the whole Peter Pan ideologies are, that if you believe, you have happy thoughts, you're going to get to your destination. When you have already decided what you want to manifest in your life, the biggest challenge is deciding what it is that you truly want. Of course, it's exciting, but the cool part is you're going to get to have this, and now you could get to practice this on the same one. So stay with the same one. Journal what you started noticing within yourself, because you're going to create in your brain new thought forms to get excited and motivated to create action towards that manifestation, to create into reality. So keep journaling, like, oh, today I've noticed I drank more water today, or today I've noticed that I didn't spend all my money shopping over here, so I'm not as poor now. I've actually put my money towards my debts. Now I'm becoming more debt free. You know, and so we got to acknowledge the steps that we take and give ourselves literally a pat on the back, because as humans, we always want what we want, and the destination to get there, nobody wants to do it. They want the outcome. I get it. If anybody understands, I do. But I've had learned the secret. And once I learned the secret of manifestation, I have created my realities. And I thought, wow, it's really what you're fighting against is truly doubt. It's not the technique. It's the human behavior of self-doubt. That's going to be your biggest enemy. So once you start believing in yourself, you're going to have to acknowledge, what have you already been doing? What have you created already in reality? And I tell my people, please acknowledge that. That's what helps me too. When I feel doubtful, I go, what have I already done? Oh yes, I got married to the man that I wanted to get married to. I did a manifestation for that person. Oh, that's right. I manifested some amazing things that came through. And they're here. So now I'm using this technique today because I got to my manifestations. And here's the thing, let me tell everyone, I was telling one of my girlfriends yesterday, you can manifest what you want. You're gonna get all your blessings and there's still work. So I got everything that I wanted, and I'm dealing with all these details because of what I created. So there's still work. So do know that when you get what you want, that doesn't mean that you're not gonna have to work at it or that you're gonna have to maintain it. Yes, you still do. That's another thing I wanna pop that bubble real quick, because I've created my reality and I've been busy all year long because I created these manifestations, and now I have the details to work out. So please keep that in mind. Do not allow your self-sabotage to get in your way. Remind yourself what you've created, what you've graduated from, what you have in possession, what you've become, who you are now, because that was all you. Other people can come into your timeline to assist you, but at the end of the day, it was always created because you decided to make that happen. And thank God for all the people that come in to back you up. But remember, you are the source creator. A lot of times, many people don't know what they want. So that's why things can't work out for them. So they don't really know what they want to have in a partner. They don't really know. They have ideas, but they really haven't sat down and wrote things out. And preparing for this class, I told Amy, and I'm letting everyone know, you must know at least one thing. Don't give me like 20 million things, because your brain has to focus on one area first, because that one manifestation is going to work your emotions all the way through. Okay, there was times like one of my biggest manifestations this year was to be a home buyer, and I got my home. Oh my gosh, what I went through. There was moments where I was like, Eric and I, my husband, we were laughing just even this weekend. I was like, because I was getting ready for the manifestation class this week. I'm very excited to teach this. And I said, oh my gosh, I remember when I was like, I don't even want to do this anymore. You know what, let's not buy the house. Let's just go rent a really big mansion, call it a day, and I'll be happy with because I was so stressed out because the details to get it. And then I got it. And now to maintain my manifestation, I have a lot of details that I got to work out, but I can't give up because I wanted this so deeply in my soul level. And that's where you have to be on a soul level. You must want it that bad, because on a soul level, it manifests on a core level. What is the core level? It's here in our reality. This is core level. Soul level so deep inside of you that you can't have anything else but that. Like you're not satisfied or fulfilled until you got it. It's like this hunger and thirst. Like I won't take anything else but this. So know that when you go into your manifestation, because a lot of people don't know how to lead their lives because they don't know what they want. So then they constantly live in this loop of like, whatever just comes through, and that's fine. And then we've got other people, the other mindset of humanity that will be like, I'll never be able to get this. And they created an incantation, a vow upon themselves to never get it. Terrible. That's why I said the biggest thing you're going to deal with in the human behaviors, that's right, it's not just you, it's truly a human quality, is self-doubt. So what I want to also talk about, which Amy doesn't have these issues, but I do want to touch upon this, is key belief systems. Now, she's already worked on this one that she's manifesting on, which is why she's here today. If she didn't work on the belief system, she wouldn't have believed that she could actually create this in her technique today. So kudos to Amy. But I'm going to talk about, before we begin in this, because you got to understand how magic works. Key beliefs are deepest issues that are underneath everybody. I have them, you have them, everyone's got them. Key beliefs are the heart of the issues that a person has. And a lot of the times those key beliefs are not just from this material plane of us being in this vessel currently. This could have been from other lifetimes that's associated. And people are like, how is that possible? You are energy at all times. And in this energy, you are a warehouse of memories, which is why even in your own family, you may have similarities to your family, but you could be very unique. Each individual may, I love the French. I love the cuisine of this country, or I resonate. I love to wear purple hair because it just feels right. I love mermaids. I'm so into dog. And people will understand that they've had connections or associations to these particulars that are so connected to them that other people are like, that's cool that you love dolphins. Don't, but you do. There's reasons for that, because there's actual key points in our genetics, in our DNA. There's cell energy DNA and cell energy genetics. That means every lifetime that you've lived, genetics from that family, whatever that orientation was, wherever location it was at, is inside of you. That's why you're so drawn to what you're drawn to. And so also acknowledge, if you are noticing that you can't seem to get out of an emotional rut, then you need to work on the energetics of those belief systems. And you want to go ahead and have a practitioner to assist you. And that's what we do at Life Force Energies, that we will first clear you up. We have to remove the debris that held you down. And then we go deeper and deeper when your soul says, I'm ready to work on these key beliefs. So I want to make sure that you also know that it's not the way that the technique works. If you have belief system issues that are blocking you on a core level, that's whatever you've dealt with in this lifetime. And then on a soul history level, that's other timelines, then this technique will be very difficult for you to connect with, because you have these belief systems that are so deeply hardwired inside of you that no matter what the technique is, you can't get to that outcome until you've worked out the beliefs. So remember that if you notice, if you've done the techniques and it's not going through, there could be a possibility that there are a stack of blocks in your belief systems to what you're manifesting. So I do want to explain that, because a lot of times people think, if I just do this, but I also need you to know that's all about you. This is totally very self-fulfilled. Underneath the stack of blocks is a key core belief that is the program holding the rest of the belief systems to it. It's what we call is the root of other programs above this technique. So what we do is then we ask the creator which belief system needs to be pulled so we can clear those blocks so they can fall down. This is how we fix the major beliefs that are holding the dysfunction of what you're trying to create. Now, I tell my clients, you could do this on your own with or without me. A lot of times people want me to come in because it's just really quick. We kind of fine tune it within that time frame, and then trying to figure it out. But a lot of times you already know what your belief systems are that are throwing you off. You could also put down, and you can write this down, which key core beliefs are holding this belief system intact. Which key core beliefs are holding this belief system intact. In other words, is it poverty? Is it that you've gone through some major past life issues or evolving around this, that there's trauma that needs to be cleared? And see, in this case, Amy's done all the work for this particular manifestation that she's done. She's cleared past life. She learned about why this was a struggle. She learned why she was creating certain blockages for protection. It was preservation in the mind and the body. She learned all that. Then she worked after she acknowledged all that. She went into belief system work. And that's a lot to work through. And then she came to finally to this point where she goes, you know what? I'm ready to take all my work and I'm ready to play with this powerful energy of belief and manifestation technique. So this is why she's able to do this today. As soon as you have the idea, you need to know what the key program is to block you. Because once we replace it, then you get progress, which is where she's at today. When she gets the progress, because we remove the old programs that were blocking her, now she's going to create new programs with this technique about how she's going to step into this new version of herself that she has annihilated from past life cycles and that she's annihilating in this timeline. And that takes a lot of courage and a lot of faith in oneself. So know that it has to stem from you. Here's another thing. Your language is a big part of how you create in your reality. If you are constantly speaking ill will or voids in your timeline, you've incanted that upon yourself. I think about when I would study sacred religious texts, they actually talk about it in multiple versions of religious texts. That your language is your spelling, it's your casting, it's how you're creating. So if you have a language that is only in the possession of, I can't, I don't have, I won't, it's never worked out, I'm so sorry, then you will keep reaping those same outcomes. So please be careful about your language. So even if you haven't hit your ideal manifestation, like when Amy's been with me for a couple of years, I would tell her, I'm going to get this, I'm going to do it. I don't know how, but I'm going to get there. But I didn't allow the language to stop me nor to pause me. I go, I know it's going to work. I'm on the path. And she knows that I was doing work to make sure I got there too. It wasn't me just wishing it upon a star and hoping that it would fall and create. It's a little bit of everything. And that's really what we're calling theta healing, co-creating. What we're doing in theta healing is co-creating with the creator. Whatever the creator is to you, that's fine. If you don't believe that there is a creator, then look at yourself as the creator, because God has developed us in their image. Okay. So if you're like, I don't believe in God, that's fine. Then you believe that you're alive, you believe that you're real, then you're the creator, then you're the God. So then put that energy into yourself, because we do know that there are people that don't believe, and that's fine too. But you got to believe, you got to connect to a key somewhere to unlock the door. If you don't believe in anything, then it won't work out no matter what you try. So here's the creation of feelings that we're about to work on today as we go into this technique. You've got to feel this energy swelling, moving, breathing, growing, increasing within your body, because your body is this beautiful vessel, a conduit to connect to these energetic frequencies in your environment. So if you don't know how to develop these feelings that I tell people, work on it, look at something that motivates you. I remember when, and I'm going to age myself right now, but I remember back in the day before it became really trendy in our timeline. Now, back in the day, you used to take your magazines and you would cut out like things that you wanted, that you would put on your refrigerator. And we call it now in our timeline a vision board. But back in the day, it was just something that they would have us do as teenagers, or teenagers would just do naturally. I remember, at least I go into my Young and Modern, YM magazine, and I would be like, oh, I want these clothes. I want to look like this girl one day, because I didn't have that. My family was very poor, so we didn't have those things. But I knew that I wanted to look just like that. And now I've created that version of myself because I wanted it. I put my feelings into that little cutout of that magazine. I was like, I want to walk with a swagger. I want to look so pretty in my clothes. I want to feel like a doll for me, not for anyone else. That's just Jessica. That's what she likes. So I was like, I want that so bad. So I created feelings. So create feelings before your manifestation. Create, what would it feel like to actually have what you want? What does it feel like to wear the clothing that you desire to wear? How do you want to do your hair? Maybe you don't have the money right now. Maybe you're like, that's just totally not me at the moment. That's not the point. The point is that you're creating with a feeling, a desire, a motivation, an inspiration. You got to launch that feeling. because you are the powerful vessel. So if you have feelings such as joy, to love, or to be loved by someone, or what it feels like to feel rich, or any other feeling, then you need to be able to feel that, to connect to the creative force, because the creative force is just waiting for you. They'll give you like little signs, they'll put people in your path, you know, they'll start showing you little things, it'll light you up, get you all excited. It's little seeds is what we call it. And then someone else will come in and maybe like, I'm one of the people, I'll come and water your seed, right? But you got to let that harvest of what you desire, your abundance, your cornucopia, whatever that looks like to you, you got to realize that into fruition. Same thing goes with soulmates. Yes, you could even use this technique to find your soulmate. It's one of the techniques that I love to use. So this one, I always tell people, if you're going to manifest your soulmate, please always put down most compatible soulmate. Do not put perfect, because then you will have a really a deficit in that relationship, because then you'll feel inferior to your partner. So always put down, if you're going to do this technique, my most compatible soulmate, okay? Because you want someone with less resistance, because then the two of you will synergize, beautifully blend and co-create your realities together. So you need someone of your most compatible soulmate. Also, when you're manifesting your partner, you need to say if you want them to be monogamous, what your sexual preferences. Yeah, that's important, because I've seen a lot of people manifest their partner and their partner is not monogamous. And now there's a deficit in that relationship, because that person who is purely monogamous and they're with a partner that is not, there is a deficit there. And now there's issues of self-doubt, low self-esteem issues. So please put down whether they're monogamous, whatever your sexual preferences, it must match. You got to put that in. In addition to that, you got to also put, what are the characteristics? And I tell people, always think back about your relationships, the good qualities and the bad qualities, because that right there, that's the easiest. Your brain will remember what you want and what you don't want. So you're not going to say, I don't want this. If your person was a cheater, you're not going to say, I don't want a cheater. You're going to say, thank you in advance that my partner is devoted, loyal to me at all times. And why we say at all times, because that means they're loyal and devoted to you, even if their family is trying to throw some shade at you. Their best friends like, oh, you shouldn't be with that person, or their workers talking some smack. You need someone to be devoted to you at all times, regardless of what others think about you and feel about you. When you're manifesting your soulmate, you could also put down, what's their health like? And if they don't like exactly, because it's also leave some fluidity open too when you're manifesting your compatible soulmate. You may like, I love crystals. My husband is totally about cars. We are fanatical about those two subjects. That's not my husband's thing. But what I love about my husband is he'll join me to go get crystals for the business or crystals for the house. And he's learned about crystals. He's not as well informed as I am, but he enjoys to be with me as I'm in my enjoyment of crystals. Now, I know more now about cars than I ever have in my life, but I still couldn't break it down the way he does. But I actually genuinely enjoy being with my husband if he wants to go do a car show, or he wants to do a video for his channel for his cars, or I'm totally in it with him. I don't understand a lot of the things that are going on, but because he's so excited about it, it brings me joy, and it's our bonding. So please keep that in mind too, if you're going to manifest, because a lot of people love using this technique to manifest their soulmate. Also, when you're manifesting the soulmate, please talk about the family members. My daughter Helena would definitely would touch about this, and she's not afraid to share with the public. She will definitely tell you, when you are manifesting your soulmate, that you're going to get along, that their family members will always respect you. They may not like you, that's fine, but they will respect and honor you. So please put that in. So, again, leave some fluidity, be open. Remember the things that you want from your partner. Please also know that divine expects it to be square. Okay, that means aligned, eye to eye, right? Because if you want your partner to be devoted to you, but you're not one that can be devoted, then that's selfish to ask of that. So you may not get the person, because God is also divine creator. Your higher self is not going to allow some other soul to come in, and you're not going to deliver what you expect from them, because it's not fair. It's not fair to them. So that's what I love about this technique too. It's not going to just bring you somebody so you can whip out and tell them this is your to-do list, but you're not willing to meet up. You just won't get that person until you're ready to learn what it means to be selfless and fluid with your partner. Because remember, free will is for everybody. We have to first experience what these feelings are like to bring those desires, the details into our reality. So you got to feel that. Now, if you have a hard time to know what that feels like, whatever the manifestation is, find something so you know what that is. You know, I said, like, pull magazines, pictures, talk to other people that may have what you want, right? Not that we're going to use envy, because an envy actually doesn't allow you to get in, but it should inspire you. So I'll talk to other women. That's what helped me to get to my location, was I talked to women that had certain things I had not yet had. And I would talk to them about it. And I was like, tell me, what was it like for you? You know, share with me, what do you love about this thing that you've got? So that I could learn how to emulate that within myself. Like when I was talking to my friends who owned homes, I was like, what's it like? And so then I was like, okay. I was like, okay, I'm going to learn what that feeling is. I've been a responsible adult. Maybe I didn't own a house, but I've owned cars, I've owned assets. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to play with those feelings, those experiences, and I'm going to amplify it when I do this technique. So please keep that in mind too. Like, this is very in-depth substance to play with. Always remember that when you are manifesting, it's only manifesting for yourself. That's why I said the most compatible, you're not dictating, because that compatible soulmate's got to find you with the same resonance and same desires. For example, if it's something else, like a material thing or something for yourself, that's fine. But you can't manifest, like if you know someone in your circle of whomever, family, friends, workers, you want something like, maybe you want your best friend to like break up with their boyfriend because you want to be with them. I know it sounds crazy, but it happens. It's not okay. You will build up some negative karma against that. So just please keep in mind about your feelings. Remember, is it permissible? In other words, are you going against someone to try to invoke selfishness inside of your timeline? And then you'll deal with those karmas, or you just may not get it at all. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to connect with the creator at the 7th plane. Now, for those of you that practice with energy, we know that there's multiple planes. We know, like for those who do Reiki, we know that there are what they call levels of heaven. It's the same ideology in theta healing of planes. It's an existence of frequency of realities. So what I'm going to tell you is, in case you've done this or not done this, your focus is only on the 7th plane of existence. That is where we're creating. When we are doing an exchange with the creator at the 7th plane is when I take something away and I bring something in. So for example, when I'm doing theta healing at the practice, that's when I go into your guys' energetic timelines. I see that something that you have that isn't serving you anymore, you're ready to release it because you've done what you had to do to get there. I get to release it, and that's when I go, creator, what do I replace this with? And it's not based upon my knowledge, it's based upon what your body frequency and divine says that you're ready to accept to help you in your characteristics. So that's when I go into the 7th plane to create with co-creator, with divine. And that's why I say, and now I shall witness. Why am I saying now I shall witness? Because I've got to see this in my mind's eye. I got to feel this. Even if I can't see it, I got to feel it, believe it, and know it's happening. There's no doubt when you're working with this technique. You're like, and look at it. I also tell people, you know what you can do? This is how I started off in my theta healing. Just be excited, go in the inner child, because the inner child doesn't care about details. The inner child is just excited to get to that destiny. That's it. So let the inner child, so be like, if you want to be able to have better skin, you want to take care of yourself, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to get the right skin products. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to take my supplements. My skin's going to look amazing. I'm so excited. Tap into that inner child feeling, because that inner child knows exactly what to do to connect to creator. What you're doing is, what we're going to do right now as we connect to creator, your belief system, your narrative, your directive is literally going to flow through every cell of your body. And it's going to go through every belief system to get there. Core, which is what we feel and believe right now for whatever we dealt with, whatever we experience in this reality. Soul level, that's deep inside. That means has nothing to do with this body vessel. It is who you are. It's what makes you who you are. History is your past life memories, your akashics, your records, your libraries, what you've done, who you were, what you evolved into. And then the other one is genetic. For example, a lot of, like, I had this in my family, in my genetic belief systems was poverty. So I couldn't, no matter I was trying, like, I feel like I get sucked into this pit of like quicksand, because my genetics, my DNA, they still carry that. And I had to resist all of my ancestors that literally did live in poverty. I had to resist that. And I had to know what that felt like and create. And I had my freaking genetics sabotaging me at the same time as I'm working it out. But I was like, no. So what I did, and I hope this helps you all, I actually started praying it not only for myself, but I started using for those who do have the symbol of time in Reiki. Now there's other techniques that you could do, but you can also, if you don't have the symbol of time to use, you could use that and go back to your genetics and pray the blessings upon the genetics of the family too. Okay. So that way, if that's the case, you're changing the vibrational resonance within your family timeline. And I also use elemental clearing to clear that, to go in the ancestor, because it's so deep inside the body. It's quite interesting. So keep that in mind, that you think about your genetics and think about your family and be like, not only in my lifetime, but my future lifetimes, my family, I'm changing the way we think about health, the way we think about finances, the way we think about relationships, things of that nature. So let that be your motivation as well. Once this feeling has been experienced, the person is ready to create life changes. Let me repeat that again, because this is so important. Once this feeling has been experienced, the person is ready to create life changes. We're going to remember, you must understand how you feel. So use all your motivation, Amy. Whatever it is that you want today, you're going to imagine yourself, as you're going to go through this technique, what it would feel like to look the way that you, not what anybody else wants, or whatever it is that you want to accomplish into your life. Don't worry about it. For you, what does that feel like? And you may not, like, I don't know, like I didn't know either. So I allowed my inner child, what would that feel like? I would get excited if I did this, because our inner child doesn't hold us back. Our adult goes, well, it's not really possible because, but the inner child, that's why they have such a powerful belief system. That's why they can make things happen so quickly. I believe that's why even certain worlds that pertain to the child, they know that the child has this belief system that can make magic in this world. So let's keep that in mind. Now I'm going to talk about the feelings. We're going to first work out the feelings right now before we go into the technique. And I call this the feelings process, because you got to feel all this. So it's an exercise that you're going to do. Again, set some time for meditation. This is a meditation technique that you connect within yourself and to Creator. And you're going to use your brain waves to get you there. So first and foremost, what you're going to do for the feelings process is we center ourselves. So we already did that this morning. What we did is we deeply rooted, we grounded, we shielded ourselves. We acknowledge that we're in this meditative state today. Our brain is there. So what you're going to be doing is, again, for those that are going to practice this, you bring in your consciousness as you're believing and creating that you're connecting to Mother Earth. Why do we have to connect to Mother Earth? Because this is where we're at. This is where we're stationed. We got to draw a signal. When we're dealing with locations, anywhere that we go on this planet, we have a location number. That's why you must be deeply rooted and connected. If you don't know how to ground and shield, then that's the first thing you must know to do. Because grounding and shielding, this is what we're going to be doing to get to the seventh plane. This is exactly what we're creating. But you have to be anchored onto your planet so you don't go off energetically into places you don't belong into, okay? And we got to shield because we have placed the narrative that, we're going to go create and you don't get in my way. Stay out. And that's a universal law that the energies must follow by. So you're going to first, when we go into the feelings process, deeply ground yourself into Mother Earth. You're going to bring that energy up, which we did. We went up through the feet, and then we went and we activated every chakra. But this time we're going to do the same idea. But when we do, we're going to go and acknowledge in our mind, you say, I'm going to the seventh plane of existence only. Don't worry about the other stuff. So I'm going to say these descriptions because you may see them, but your big focus is to get to the seventh plane with me. Don't worry right now, Amy, I'm going to make sure, that's why I'm here. I'm going to tap you in to make sure that you're there. And if you're not there, I will get you there. Okay. And it's a practice. So please don't be discouraged. This is a constant practice that we will do. For those of you that also, when you're practicing to get the seventh plane and you feel that you've got distorted, that's where the soul retrieval process comes in. Bring yourself back in. Amy does know how to do the soul retrieval process technique, which is why she's taking this class as well. Just in case in her practice that she moves away from the seventh plane and she's like, she comes back and she goes, I feel off. She'll muscle test or however she likes to see. Do I need to do a soul retrieval process? So she does. She already knows how to bring herself back into her body, clean herself up through Kyoki or Kinyoku, dry bathing, or any other concept she uses to clean herself or her energy waters, whatever she likes to do. So please know how to do that as well. If you don't know how to do the soul retrieval process, then you're going to want to take that class, and we do offer that as well. Okay, so what we're going to do, sister, you and I'm going to, what I'm going to do for you, sister, is I'm going to say this out loud. You're going to say it in your mind, okay? That way you get there. So you already know what the main goal is, so keep that in mind. So we're just going to do it really quick because you and we already know how to do this. We're going to center ourselves. We're going to go back down. Let's make sure we're deeply rooted. Get back into our center of our body. You're already there beautifully. Now what we're going to do is we're calling in Mother Earth's energy to move up through our feet, into our body, up through all the chakras. Now we're going to go past the soul star. We're going to go into the gateway. We're going beyond the universe. We're going to pass white lights, pass dark light. Keep going. You're going to pass the white light again. You're going to pass what looks like a jelly-like substance. Keep going, which those are called the laws. Now you're going to say, I'm moving forward towards a pearly, iridescent white light into the 7th plane of existence. Now visualize yourself in pearly, iridescent white light and say in your mind, I am in the 7th plane of existence. Good. She's already connected there. Now in your mind, remember to practice your breath as well. Creator of all that is, it is commanded to instill the feeling of, name that feeling. And you said, into myself, through every cell of my body, on all 4 belief levels, and in every area of my life, in the highest and best way. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. Now witness the energy of the feeling as it's flowing into your body, into your space. I want you to visualize this feeling from the Creator. It's being sent as a waterfall through every cell of your body, instilling the feeling on all 4 belief levels. And you can say, Divine Creator, I'm instilling the feeling on all 4 belief levels. On my core belief, on my genetic level, my history level, my soul level. Breathe that through. So instill that feeling of what you are ready to create. When you are finished, you're going to move your consciousness out of this space through the crown chakra. So go up towards the crown chakra, and you can say, I'm moving up towards the crown chakra. Thank you, Divine Universe, for instilling this feeling process within me. I trust that it's already working. Then I want you to go back into Mother Earth, reground yourself, visualize that you're connected to Mother Earth. Now pull Mother Earth's energy up through your entire body. Let those waves maneuver to the top of your crown. Let it sit at the soul star chakra, the seat of the soul. Now I want you to perform the energy break and disconnect. You did a fantastic job. Good job. And why we start with that, she just activated in her cells of her body what the narrative, the directive is. She had to get deeply rooted and centered to the body. She's created. This is what my menu looks like right now. I'm going to put, when we go into the next, she's going to put that order through. But she needed to know, like when you go to a restaurant, you may not know what you want, but you're looking through everyone. You're trying to see which one makes you, ooh, that sounds good. You're salivating, you're responding. You're like, ooh, or you already know what you want because it's your favorite thing. You're like, I already know. I don't even need the menu. Just give me it because you know what you want. And so then it comes to you. That's the idea, that concept. Amy, did you have any feelings? What was happening for you in that process for you?
For me, I always feel a lot of energy moving through more in my headspace a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then when I ground, I usually feel a little bit of a tingling on the bottom of my feet, and that's my kind of my cue of like,
for you know that you got it.
And then obviously when I activate my Reiki energy, I always feel it tingling in my palm chakras. And so that's again like my cue. And so once I sort of feel all of those feelings, I have that instant like just confidence of like, okay, it's activated, it's working, I'm on, you know? And so when I'm feeling those things, then I immediately have like you said, that no doubt, like it gets me into that headspace of it's on, it's working, there's no doubt, it's happening, because I can tangibly feel those things. And that's kind of like how I operate. So when I was grounding and shielding, I immediately feel the tingling, and I feel calm, I feel centered, I feel like any anxieties or anything just immediately just sort of like wash away, and I just feel present. So that's like a beautiful feeling for me. And then I can feel the energy, like I just imagine in my brain the energy like going all the way up, and then going through those, going up to the 7th plane of existence. I kind of get a sense of like, it's almost like this little bit of a dizzy or like a lightheadedness almost.
Yeah, I feel it too. I feel it right here actually for myself.
Yeah.
You'll feel some interesting sensations, and that's wonderful for me because by your directive, you connected to the theta brainwave in your consciousness. That's what leads us into the meditative state. I think of one of my favorite shows, as I was developing in my abilities, the Avatar. The Avatar had to learn this, just how to feel, how to be present, how to be meditative as the Avatar evolved in his powers. As he would connect to his past lifetimes, that would also help him to be realigned in his future timeline. But at the end of it, it was always the Avatar in every lifetime to make the decision whether or not he was going to create that. So what you're feeling, that feeling that you'll feel it sometimes like right here. You may even feel like little tensions or some strange feelings in the head. That is what is called the theta brainwave. Now, the other time that we use theta brainwave knowingly and consciously, well, you may not know it, but consciously you're doing it, is when you're going through your phone, you're going through threads, you're playing a video game, or you're so involved. Like if you've ever noticed when someone, like you're trying to call them and they're watching a movie and they can't hear you. They're literally what's called a theta brainwave state. So you just practiced and you did beautifully what is called the theta brainwave state. So fantastic job. So now that you got to get yourself, you're getting what you're doing is you're getting your body prepared for this big technique. So you've already learned how to facilitate it. You totally understand that how it's going to work. Now, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to explain again, because I kind of went into a little idea of what the planes of existence. When we get to the 7th plane, why it's so essential to get there for this technique to work, or any form of theta healing practice, because there's so much to work with the theta brainwave. This is just one of the tiny little things you can do. The 7th level is the level of the creator of all that is. This is the level you reach for the highest manifesting, instant healings and readings. That's right. This getting into that brainwave. That's why I use it in my readings. I use it in my healings, and I use it in my manifestation practices. This is the place of safety, love, and the place of it just is. Now, I was telling Amy before we even got on here, I was kind of giving her a little bit of some ideas of what we were going to tap into today, is that we have a levels of frequency. Now, what is called the emotional resonance, there are many practitioners that study based upon the science of frequencies, and anywhere from 700 to 1,000 we tap out. That's a level of enlightenment. It's like illumination, and it's really getting to a place of life view is. It is what it is. And that's what the 7th level is. And that's what you were tapping into. Now, the 7 planes provide us with a conceptual vehicle for understanding how and why the world works on the physical and spiritual levels, and how this relates to us. The 7 planes show us how to understand the concept of the creator of all that is. It is through the creator of all that is that we learn how to create physical healings, to progress spiritually, and to find enlightenment. So what she's doing and what you are doing with this today is you're literally learning how to navigate yourself in the 7th plane, where you can co-create with the creator. This is why I was saying, if you do this consistently, your brainwaves are going to shift. It's not a matter if, it will, it's a when, because it's up to you. You're going to start shifting your own ideologies, because you're going to realize that staying in the old way of thinking kept you where your outcomes were at. But when you actually go in progressively, you are consistent. You actually start progressing spiritually, you find enlightenment, and know those doubts start to fall away. Because when you're in enlightenment, you know that there's more to it than the old human versions of self-doubt. You start realizing you're not limited unless you limit yourself. And that's the enlightenment that comes forth. Now, the 7 planes of existence are divided into degrees, and are sometimes thought of as being 12 or more, which those who study Reiki with me understand that we talked about the 12 heavens, right? The different levels of heaven. We call them in different terms, but it's basically the same thing. There are planes of existence. The planes of existence are not dimensions. It's just a world. It's a reality. Dimensions is another form of frequencies of existence. So what we're doing is we're going into this world, which is called the seventh plane, and we're hanging out in there. And when we hang out in this world, like, you know, like we have the world, we have countries, we've got continents, we've got cities, we've got streets, we've got communities. You see how it starts to break down? It's no different as we enter into the metaphysical realms. It's the same ideology. So that's why I'm trying to explain, like, this would be like, if I could break it down for our brains to think of, like, this is a state that we're going into. A state of consciousness, a state, like I live in Colorado, others live in Illinois or what have you. So we're going into a new state, you and I. And there are trillions and trillions of dimensions on the sixth plane of existence, which is through the law of time, which is why I would say, just move through that substance, that jelly-like substance. Don't worry about, those are the laws. Move forward. Like I tell people when I teach you Reiki, don't worry about the other planes, because I don't want you to get caught up in there. I need you to get to and I'll tell you which plane to get into when it comes to that element of frequency, right? Because you see the differences of elements and levels that we have to go with Reiki and with theta healing. But that's why in my practice, I'm surfing on two different types of worlds at the same time. I have learned to coexist in two levels of planes of existence. And it gets really easy, because it's just like when you learn how to ride a bike. So people are like, I've never learned how to ride a bike. You know how to walk, right? Okay, so when you had to learn how to walk, you were first rolling like a roly-poly. Later on, you got enough excitement, enthusiasm, and confidence. You start sliding, pushing, grabbing things. Eventually, you learn to stand up, and then you're like, I feel like a little shaky, baby, but I'm going to put one step forward. It's the same ideas, even in the existence of the metaphysical realms. So once you understand that there are levels of planes that you are getting into, there are different abilities to heal. Each plane is subject to its own conditions, rules, laws, and commitments. So I'm just teaching you, have faith, believe, co-create, get to the seventh plane. The other ones, unless I'm teaching you deeper into the theta, that's not for today. However, the objective of you learning about how to connect your abilities into the seventh plane of existence is truly entrusting in unconditional love. I know, sounds kind of strange, but you know that love is a very pure frequency. So how do you tap into unconditional love to create? Well, if you're trying to tap into something to create for yourself, you must love yourself. Yeah, the versions of us that we don't like, that we want to fix, even those parts, we got to give ourselves grace. We got to love those versions of ourselves. So if we are able to tap into unconditional love, that's an energy, that's a true frequency, that's a key, then we can co-create with God, with the divine creator, and with our higher selves. If we don't have unconditional love for ourselves, I don't care if you want the BMW, if you want your man, your girl, your car, you want to look a certain way, none of that's going to matter, because you have to first tap into, I love myself. Even though I want these things, like I wanted my house, or I like to dress up, I still love myself. It's just my expression, right? It's just that I feel in my mind when I got my house was like, I've worked so much that I deserve that. My kids deserve it. It wasn't because I didn't love myself. I loved myself and I loved my kids. So that love emanated my ability to get to this destination. So keep that in mind. You got to have unconditional love, because that's how we co-create. So when I'm working on my clients, I genuinely do love my clients. I don't even have to know you for very long. The fact that I'm in your energy, I get to sense you in so many other levels that other people won't get to know how to do, but I do. So I have an unconditional love for every client that I meet. So when I'm theta healing for them, I'm really, truly, genuinely want them to be healed, to be restored, to be blessed, to be protected, to be anointed, to be guided, to be led. I am genuine about it. And that's why I can co-create with divine very naturally. And you will too. Through the creator of all that is, know that when you connect into the seventh plane, you really have this unconditional love and you're co-creating with divine. It's instant. What does instant mean? Does it mean like right now? Instant means things are already shifting in your favor. So no, I didn't get my house immediately right away. But I'll tell you, the instance what was going on was within me was keeping me deliberate and committed, dedicated, strategic, being disciplined. You see what I'm saying? So those are instant, because people always want to get here, don't realize what it took to get there. But you got to acknowledge every version of yourself and what steps you took to get to your goal. So give yourself some love and grace as you're maneuvering yourself to get to the main outcome. So keep that in mind, because that's what happens. When we also must remember, we must have instant accountability. So when you're going to do this practice, you're going to have accountability. No. You keep practicing it, you're going to hold yourself accountable, because your brainwave has now been shifted. It's no longer in only want, I hope, I desire. It is the initiative. It's happening. I'm co-creating. I've got to get this done. So that's what I mean by instant, because people are like, I didn't get it the next day. Hey, honey, you got to shift within you. Like one of my clients, I think one of my favorite ones that I loved seeing this particular technique happen. I'm so grateful. We did this technique for her to find her husband. Now she was in divorce, and she remembers that I was teaching about this, and she goes, I want to do, and she did this with me every month. She did this for 6 months. So she did this on her own, but she wanted me to be with her to back her up. So we did this for 6 months. The divorce went through. She hadn't even finished the divorce. She found her husband. No joke. She's with him right now to this day. And they're a power couple right now because of this technique. That's how much I love watching you guys, ladies, everybody, be able to tap into your power and to co-create. So this isn't a one-time thing. You can continue to do that. You think I stopped using this technique to get to my house? No, I did that. I did my candle magic. I did my Aubrey Camino. Oh, I did it all. I was like, because I knew that I was serious about what I wanted, and I was getting a little impatient. So I was really adding it up a bit, but it's okay because it got me here. So know that as you're doing this, when these healings are being done in the 7th plane, these connections, this narratives, this directives, we must remember that you are creating a vow. You're creating a rule of what you're going to create. I created a vow that I was going to be a homeowner. I was breaking the walls of poverty on my family side. So I am at least the one that I had to break the family side on my maternal lineage. I am the first one that has owned their own home. But I went through blood, sweat, and tears to get here. So please remember that you must be very committed. When you are creating a vow, you are creating a contract with divine to say, I'm going to get here. Let's do this. Because in order for you to get a house, to rent a house, to buy a house, what are we doing? We're vowing a contract. Are we not signing something to that? We're taking the energy of our money that was our blood, sweat, and tears, our time, our value, and then we invested it into our reality. So keep that in mind as well. You are creating a new vow. That's why I said, be careful about how you say it, right? May it always be positive with no pain to gain. Throw that in. This was not taught to me. This is something that came to me through spirit. So I was like, how do I prevent myself from not getting into any troubles when I'm doing this? So divine would say no pain to gain. And then I added no problems or troubles with any form of authority in any density. So that's just an added. You can add that if you want. Now, the creator of all that is exists everywhere. So I don't care where you're at on the planet. If you went astral traveling and you did it, you could be on this planet, or you could be in astral traveling or in dream state, and you're going to connect to the energy of the creator, because the creator exists everywhere. It is all around us. It is what you are. You are the 7 planes of existence. Know that you are the planes of existence. That's why you can tap into it. That's why I say to your mind, I'm going to the 7th plane. Like, I don't even bother with the other planes, because that's not what the other planes I'm not using for this reason. I'm going to the 7th plane because what is the 7th plane about? Healings, readings, manifestations of the highest and best. It is all that is. That's what we want. So just remember, don't worry about the other planes. If you start seeing other planes, like a lot of the times I remember being a student in this class, and a lot of my peers were getting stuck in the other place. I was like, no, where do I have to go? That's where I'm going to. You just tell me the initiative. That's where I'm launching to. So please keep that in mind. Even if you do see them, you say in your mind, I'm going to the 7th plane of existence. I'm at the 7th plane of I am in the 7th plane of existence. And then muscle test check, whatever, or in your inner knowing, whoever you are, you'll know at that point. Now, the 7th plane of existence is the pure energy of creation. That's why we got to go there. We're creating. It is all encompassing. This is the plane of it just is. So there is no doubts, right? It is what it is. If the person who's using this plane to heal, say, such as a practitioner, like what I deal, the healings are instant. Because I do believe, like for me, I do believe. Now it's my client, and I've already worked out clearing metaphysically what was causing them to be that way. Then I go into, that's why I do what I do. I clear them up first. I clear all the muck, the yuck, the crap they dealt with since I hadn't seen them last, because we're human. We're going to deal with interactions that cannot always be favorable. So I got to clear those emotional codes within them, help them to acknowledge what's going on, get their brain stimulated. Then I'm like, okay, now they're ready. Now I can co-create, because that's why I do the theta healing the way I do it, because I want the person to understand. I'm coaching them through it, right? I'm like, all right, why do you feel this way? Well, that makes sense. I get that. But let's look at it this way. let me clear this area. I think this is what's coming up on the emotional coding. When I clear it, the person goes, oh, doesn't seem as bad as it was. Well, of course not, because those attachments were literally like thorns in the flesh. It's like splinters. So I had to take the splinter out safely to clean you up. And then I had to wash you out your little wounds and clean you up. And then I can bring you to this powerhouse. A lot of practitioners don't do that. They try to take their client straight to the 7th plane and they're carrying all this gunk. And they're like, I don't know why it's not working the same with my client. And I'm like, you should have cleared them first. So those of you who are practitioners, clear yourself emotionally, clear yourself, whatever your modality is, try to clear yourself beforehand, okay? Or those who are Reiki attuned, what I do as I'm doing this if I didn't have a chance to clear myself, because sometimes my meditations I have to do for clients in between my sessions, it's crazy. What I'll do is I'll activate the Reiki and let it keep going, and then I go into Theta, because I already know that it's already holding me and clearing me, and I'll say the intention, my attunements to my symbols, I'll say, purify, cleanse me, release me from anything that's holding me back. Clear me now with grace and with ease in my highest and greatest good, with no pain to gain, without any problems or troubles with any laws of existence or densities. I'm now entering so I can support so-and-so or myself in this type of meditation. Thank you. So that my Reiki is constantly running while I'm doing it. So just giving another idea on how to do that. And here's what I like about Theta healing as well, why I have to have it running in the background. When you are in the 7th plane, now other techniques that I do will exhaust me, because it's not Theta healing. It's a different modality. But when I'm in Theta healing, it does not exhaust me. It actually, the vibration is so high that it keeps me powered up. So that's why sometimes in my sessions, if I don't use other modalities and I'm only Reiki and Theta healing, I'm like excited, I'm exuberant. People think I'm on caffeine. It's such a high vibrational resonance. It really gets me excited. And it also embraces you in this love energy. That's what I love about working with Theta healing, because if you're going through a difficult time on a human vibrational level, it actually raises your resonance to this beautiful, loving perfection. So then you're able to create beautifully. You got to remember that when you go into this plane, you are aware that you can recreate energy easily and effortlessly. I know I'm reiterating this, but this is really the power and the magic behind Theta healing. You are aware that you can simply create your world. A lot of healers around the world use this aspect because they raise the resonance through Theta healing to raise for perfection, to raise for clarity. When healers go into this plane, they become committed to divine, to manifest together. When you're using the 7th plane, I love being in the 7th plane because you start clearing limited beliefs. Did you know, just by being in the 7th plane, you start clearing limited beliefs, because now you're not seeing through the human perception. You're now seeing through the God creator perception. It's so awesome. You start clearing limiting beliefs that have been binding you through what? Doubt, because that's really the biggest thing. What do I see in the human emotional coding that seems to be constant is despair, fear, and doubt. That's what I see constantly. So I know that it's not just a person thing, it's a humanity thing that we've got going on. So when we are in that 7th plane, we start creating in this paradigm where fear, doubt, despair can't exist there. It doesn't, it's too high vibrational. It doesn't work together. It's like try to get water and oil. You know, you see the separation in it. It's like that. Now, some people are afraid to go into this plane. They think by going to God in that closeness isn't okay. But I'm going to tell you something. The Creator has given you this birthright to step into your power, to co-create with God. And now, in different levels of religious texts, what I've studied throughout my timeline is that there is no separateness. We've created the separateness between ourselves and our divinity, our sovereignty, and with divine, whatever that may look like is, but there is something very powerful and omnipotent out there, or in here. We're right before it. So remember, for those that go, who am I to go to the 7th plane to co-create with God? You're God's creation, first and foremost. So yeah, you have the right, you have the birthright to get to that 7th plane and to connect to Creator. But if you don't believe that, guess what? Then you can't do this. You're going to have to wait on that. Work the belief systems, meet with me or meet with someone else, work it out, whatever you got to do, but work on those belief systems. So I know when I go into the 7th plane, I'm just hanging out with my Creator, and I'm allowed to, because I'm His creation, or her creation, or whatever it is, the energy's creation. Also, when we're connecting, for some of you that may like, I don't know how to connect, I feel like I got to connect through my guardian angels. You can call upon your guardian angels for this too, okay? Because a lot of times people are like, I don't know how to get from here to that point. So you can also say, I call forward, and you know who your guardian angels are. If you don't know them, then you're going to want to talk to someone to tell you who your guardian angels are. We also do that here. So you want to make the connection with your angels and your spirit guides. It's very exciting. Some of our spirit guides can be I call them cosmic beings of light, like the Pleiadians, the Andromedans, the Orions. You know, it could be another version. It could be Lemurians. It could be different beings. It could be dragon spirits, what have you, your animal spirits. Those are guides, right? Some of us have a deep connection, and I'm not here to tell other people that that's not right. Actually, what you believe is what you receive. Truly, if you believe that you connect to your dragon spirit, then you will connect to your dragon spirit. If you believe that owl is your dragon spirit, then you will connect to your owl. It's all about belief, right? Before we create. But remember, when you are going to connect with creator, you call them in prior to your technique. Okay, if you feel like you need them, because you're going to just know you must connect with creator first before you make contact and start doing the work. And the reason a lot of times people like bringing in guardians, because they're still working on the process of connecting in such a high vibrational frequency. They don't want to get tricked by other guides. So I get that. So I do want to let you know you could call upon your guides if you feel that you need this. Do you have any questions before we go into the next practice?
No.
Oh, all right. Okay, so now we're going to get into the real deal, okay? We're going to be practicing through our theta healing brain waves, the concept of manifesting. We already know what your belief is. You don't have to share it out loud. This is just for you and between you and Divine Creator. And you're going to know that there's this wonderful possibility that you're going to create this into your physical realm by using the power of Creator of all that is. And that's what I also want to share. If you know that you are connecting to the power of Creator of all that is, that should also give you this like, oh my God, this is amazing. I can do this, because it's not you doing this all by yourself anymore. You are actually connecting to the Creator to make this happen. Remember, every statement, thought, and action is reflected by what we are manifesting in our lives. So if you're saying, oh man, I never have money, but you're blowing your money on 20 pairs of shoes of different colors and you have no savings, that is a feeling that you didn't want to do it, no discipline. You put in the thought like, I don't care, I still want those 20 million pairs of shoes. And then your action didn't allow you to put money away. Then how the heck do you get to that point? A lot of people just like, I just want to have the 20 million pairs, spend all my money, don't have any savings, and I still want what I want. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Let's see how that keeps working out for you. Because every decision, again, is made upon the mirror reflection of what we choose to create. Remember that as we're going to go into this session now. I have to go over the rules because it's very important, because people, I don't want you to come back at me and be like, why did this work out? And I don't want to hear that. So I'm going to make this very clear. We create our own reality. We create our own reality. I gave you some ideas about if you're blowing all your stuff. If you're like, I want to have better health, but you're eating all the freaking Jack in the Box specials, okay, every day, and you're not making yourself a smoothie, you're not taking your supplements, you're not cutting out all this fat grease crap that's in your diet, then you're not going to get healthier. You're going to keep clogging those arteries, keep messing up your digestive tract. You're going to possibly mess up your immune system. So please remember, what you create your own reality. You must be dedicated and committed to yourself. But that's what I love about theta healing. It does shift the mindset when you stay consistent in this process. And then all of a sudden it's just going to come naturally to you because you're holding yourself accountable to do it. Please also remember, you cannot manifest someone specific to love you. I think Jim Carrey showed one of the movies where he was God and he was trying to make his girlfriend love him. He's like, love me. It's called free will. And he's like, why isn't it not working? Because he was going against the laws of the universe. You can't make someone love you. What you can do is possibly find favor. But if you're still a butt person, okay, you're being I was gonna say another word, you're being an a-hole, okay, to that person. You're like, why won't they love me? Well, dude, like, your actions has a lot to do with this. So please remember, you cannot make someone love you. Now, what you could do is send thought forms that you would find favor with them. But you also have to remember, if you're being mean, you're not a good person to be with. I don't care what you got to do. The person's going to eventually run away, because we don't want to interfere with anyone's free agency. Please be careful for what you ask for, because you will get it. That's why I always add no pain to gain without any problems or troubles with the laws of the universe or on any density. You see how I threw that in? Because I don't want to have any troubles with the IRS or with the state, or I don't want anyone from the other timelines to come and get me because I didn't do something right. So be careful about what you ask for. Again, you are only allowed to manifest in aspects of your own life. Yes, though I manifested for the house, it was first for me. It was for me. But my unconditional love also allowed it because I wasn't going against my kids' free will. They also wanted the house. So I did have their permission in that aspect. They were with me for it. They're like, yes, let's get a home. Let's call a home our own. Can we finally paint the room the way we want to? Yes, you can. You are allowed to bring in your spirit guides through this manifestation technique. Did you know that through this technique that we're using today, you can actually call in your highest and best new spirit guides? That's really cool. But again, always be very specific of what you want. The way events unfold may help and hurt at the same time. So I also need to make that clear too. So I got my house. I mean, I didn't even know a house can close in 2 weeks, everybody, but mine did. But that, I mean, I had a candle going on, 100-hour candle. I did the Abre Camino. I did all these things to get myself there. So I got the house. Well, I had issues when I got the house. Not the house didn't have any issues, but I wanted to create more on my land. And I got involved with an HOA. I know everyone's probably thinking you should not get involved with an HOA, but I'm telling you, the house is amazing. So I did it. And I'm dealing with issues that come with that. So that's why they're saying, just keep that in mind. Just because you get this rockin', man, woman, or body, or wardrobe, or house, doesn't mean you're gonna have things to deal with when it comes through. So when you're doing it, again, with grace and with ease, put that on, grace and with ease. So I did put that in. And yes, I've had some little hiccups here and there. Everything worked out, thank God. But geez, it was uncomfortable at times. So do know that. Don't expect it to always be perfect. So if you're trying to obtain getting better in your health, you may have to not be able to drink alcohol. What? You may not be able to smoke that cigarette. And that's going to make you mad. That's going to make you mad. Okay. So that, just acknowledge that will and can happen also in your manifestations. Please take it as for what it is. As you're being specific onto what you ask, I do need to share this because this is a very highlighted thing that my physician, my metaphysical healer, has talked about, and this really happened. He says, if you ask for $1 million, be careful that it doesn't come to you by way of an insurance claim after a piano has fallen on you. Always put this down. Always ask for the highest and best for you. In the process of this meditation, always ask for the highest and best for you. Know exactly what you want. Man, that scared me. When I took this class, I think I took it in 2015. I don't know. It's been a long time. I was so scared by that story. I was like, oh my gosh, that's why I started adding into my manifestations those words. I was like, no way. I don't want to get the $1 million through the lottery and then someone tries to steal from me. So I always say, like, I get to choose. Like, if I'm asking for money, I always say I get to choose. With my own discretion, I choose how I use that money with who I want to share it with. So I already put the narrative, I put the directive that I get to choose and that others are not able to take from me my blessings. I don't care if it's family or non-family. I do put that in. So you'll get better as you start doing theta healing. You start realizing like the little key directives that you want to put in to avoid some nasty situations. When you're doing the spoken word, if you're in a bad way that day, don't do this work. Don't do it. Clear yourself up first. Be in a better place when you do this manifestation technique. If you're having a hard day today and you're watching this, just watch it, enjoy it, but don't do it yet. Because if you're in a funky place, then you're gonna manifest from that resonance. And that's not good. Don't do that. Because you're directing these thought forms to be brought into manifestation, and it can show up either good or bad to your life. So that's why if you're in a better vibrational resonance, like if you did a session with me that day, chances are you should probably do it that evening. Okay. You may want to try it that night because you've already been cleared. You're potent, you're vibrant, you're radiant. No one's interfered in your field or your environment. So you're in a different place. You're very clear. So that's another idea to practice if you want to. And again, be aware if there are blocks. If something is going on and you have a block, then you'll find out what that block is, right? You'll be like, maybe it's my block of, I don't like to do what the physician says I need to do. Like, I understand, I'll take my supplements up, but I have a hard time taking initiative when a practitioner or anyone of authority tells me I have to do this. That may be the actual block. It may not be that you didn't do you're not eating right, you're not exercising, you're not taking your supplements, you're not being a good partner, you're not putting the money away. It has nothing to do with that. It could just be one little tweak that we don't know about yet. So you got to ask yourself, do I have a problem with taking direction from authority? Go back to when you were a kid, how your parents were, how you are in your relationships at work, everything. So keep in mind, watch yourself. You're going to learn a lot about yourself with this technique. I think I've explained well enough what we're going to go into, because remember, the spoken word is 30 to 40% effective of the time. So again, our words, right? However, visualizing, did you know, is 50% effective of the time. So you got to visualize. Even if you can't visualize, that's why I tell people grab things. Like I actually drew, I got pictures of what I wanted, whatever it is that I want. And that's how I do. So try that too. That can also be very helpful. However, what really seals the deal when you do the correct wording, you already know what you want. You already see what you're looking for. Your desire is for that. The theta healing amplifies it by 80 to 90% effectiveness. I love that. I love that. So that I want to also make clear about the sciences of the different versions of your elements, how they come together to create this world. All right, sister. So we're going to get nice and ready. I'm going to help you to go into the plane of existence first. Okay. So I'm going to guide you through this. You just follow along. You already know what you want anyways. As soon as I get you there, you're going to rinse off, because I'm going to take you to play in the plane right now. After we play it in the plane, I'm going to bring you back in, and then we're going to go, what I call in is prana breath work. It's your life force, because we're pulling it from the solar plexus, from the sacral. Sacral and solar plexus has to do with our self-esteem, our identity, with how we create our reality. The sacral is all about our emotions and manifestations and connections with other people. So that's why we're going to use this technique as we're channeling it from those parts of our body, as we are activating through the theta healing simultaneously at the same time. So we're creating what I would like to believe my husband would say a combustion in the engine, which allows it to keep it moving. So that's what we're doing with this vessel. All right, beautiful. Go ahead and center yourself once again. You're going to send your consciousness down into the center of Mother Earth. So get nice and comfy. As you're centering yourself, you're going to be sending your consciousness down into the center of Mother Earth, of all that is. Oh, feels good. You're going to bring that energy up through your feet, into your body, and up through all the chakras. And we keep that nice breath going. As we have allowed that energy to move up through all of the chakras, you're going to go beyond the universe. You're going to pass the white lights, pass the dark light, and tell yourself, I'm passing the white light. I'm passing the jelly-like substance, which is the laws. I'm moving into a pearly, iridescent white light, into the seventh plane of existence. Now visualize yourself in this pearly, iridescent white light. And you're going to say in your mind, I am in the seventh plane of existence. I am connecting with the creator of all that is in the seventh plane of existence. You're there. Good job, Amy. Now I want you to say in your mind, creator of all that is, it is commanded that I have this in my life now. And now you state your manifestation to divine creator. Afterwards, you will say, thank you. It is done 3 times. When you have stated your manifestation, do it with such a thanksgiving. And in your mind, you will say, thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. And now I want you, from the standpoint of the co-creative, because that's where you are, you're envisioning your life as a giant bubble. Now you are a giant yourself, and your arm reaches down from the creator of all that is into this bubble, and you're stirring the life flow energy to create the changes. So it's like you're the alchemist right now in this energy, visualizing this manifestation happening. Start seeing what it looks like. What does it feel like? What are you doing? What are you wearing? How does your hair look? Make it very visual in your mind and your feelings. You're stirring it up. You're creating, just like when you're cooking at the kitchen. You're making something delicious. You're going to make this, you're going to take this in. When you have really felt that you've been in that world, then that means you're going to let it go at that point, because you're trusting that you've already placed your order. You're just going to wait for it to come through. You now have completed that process. I want you to rinse yourself off and put yourself back in your space and make a break. So you could always say, God's light, waterfall, 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 washed clean, rinse off. God's light, waterfall, 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 wash clean, rinse off. God's light, waterfall, 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 wash clean, rinse off. And then do your energetic break and release yourself, however way you do so. And so while you are in there, you're going to just make that break and trust now that you have made this creation. You've co-created with the divine universe this energy, this emotion, these thoughts, these feelings. So now you've been playing in the seventh plane of existence. You're leaving your imprints of what you are creating in your timeline. Okay. Now that you've done that, we're going to go into our life force energy, our breath work. So beautiful job. Well done. You did fantastic. You were successful in that process. Good job. Because that is truly the process of feelings, of thoughts, of creating with creator in that seventh plane of existence. So you were playing in there. You were stirring it up. You're co-creating. You're trusting it in. You put your order in. Now we're going to let that go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go back into our vessel and we're going to manifest what I would be like the fuel to the engine, right? You can't drive your car if it's an EV without it being charged. You can't drive your car if it's fuel related unless you gassed it up. So now that we have done that, we're going to go into our vessels, this amazing conduit, this body of ours. We're going to allow this breathing exercise to enable us to take in large quantities of life force. Now, the Hawaiian kahunas call it mana. Others call it prana. Others call it life force. And you've already know what you are going. So we're going to stay with the same manifestation, right? Because we're going to make that very potent. You're going to keep with that. As you start changing and witnessing inside of you, you start shifting and documenting and journaling how you are taking on initiatives. Now, when you do this, please do this exercise with your legs uncrossed. Why do we do that? Because our legs, remember, they're like the roots. So we want to keep it like hip width apart. We're making it our body's very clear channel and connection. And then you're allowing yourself to become very relaxed. What I'm going to be leading you into are very important breaths, and they're going to be 6 of them. They're going to activate this connection. As you are doing this breath work, you're going to be thinking about what you feel like, what it looks like, what it would be like to have, even though you don't know what it is at the moment. Let that inner child do the pretend that we used to do as kids. Oh, I pretend I have this wand and it's working. And we would play whatever it is. That's that version of the inner child that needs to come into this breath work today. So you may not know what it feels like to be healthy in this aspect or what it feels like to own this particular thing, but think as an inner child, what would it be like if you got to own this or have this awesome partner or have this version of yourself? What would that feel like? Imagination is your creation. I believe that's why in certain, I'm going to go back referencing without using their name because I don't want to get in trouble with them, but there are certain entertainments here that calls us to allow that inner child to feel and to create and imagine. Our imagination leads us to our destination when it comes to magic. And that's really what I've learned growing up and seeing this even today. So we need your imagination to have fun today as you're going to do this breath work. So I'm going to lead you again, guided so that you can concentrate on the breath work and the thought process of what it is you're manifesting. So what we're going to do is I want you to take a couple, 3 deep cleansing breaths first, just to get yourself ready for this breath work, because you're going to go very deep into your breath. What you're going to be doing after your 3 breath work, your 3 deep breaths, I'm going to have you expel all the air from the lungs. And then you'll begin by exhaling as much of the air as possible after your 3 breaths. So let's go ahead. And when you're done with that, I want you to expel all the air from the lungs. So fill up those lungs all the way in nice and deep. Not where it doesn't hurt, but close enough, and then release. What we're doing is we're clearing the chambers of the vessel. Next, you're going to use short exhaling puffs to literally push out all the air out of the lungs like this. This removes all of the old air from the lungs and makes room for a large amount of mana, of prana, life force, air. Okay, so you practice that. Good. You cleaned up there. You did good. You cleaned up the chambers. Now this is the first breath. I want you to take a deep breath in, and I want you to pull that air deep into your stomach. This is called belly breathing. And women, I want you to hold your air in your stomach and think about what you want. And then I want you to exhale as much as you can after you've thought about it. So again, you take that deep breath in, pulling the air deep into your stomach. This is called belly breathing. Women, hold your air in your stomach, hold it, and then exhale. Now, Amy, don't do this part, but I'm going to share this on the video. Men, you would hold the air in your stomach, and then you would take an extra inhalation to fill the chest. So it's going to look like this. Hold it in the stomach, take an extra inhalation in the chest, hold the air for 10 seconds. Now release. Okay, so what Amy did on that first breath for the women's body, she cleared the chamber. She's clearing the old air. Because remember, we have a tendency to not really do deep breaths, so we have old air in our body. So she just cleared it. She cleared it out beautifully. Second breath. You're going to take a deep breath in again, and you're going to hold the air in your stomach. Women only. So hold that again. And as you're holding it in, I want you to visualize and believe what it is that you are calling into your existence of your body. Until you can't hold anymore, then you're going to exhale very deeply and expel all that air as much as you can. There you go. Beautiful. Now, Amy, you won't do this. Men, you take an extra inhalation to fill the chest. You're going to hold it for 10 seconds. As you hold the breath, imagine the mana energy flowing through every cell of your body. Then you release the breath. So this is what it looks like. Again. As I hold the breath, I'm imagining that mana flowing through every cell of my body. And you can say it. The mana is flowing through every cell of my body. Then I release the breath. Pushing that out. Okay. Now let's go to the third breath. And it's going to seem like a lot for the women. That's very similar, but that's because we have wombs. So why is ours different from the men? The men have to enter different parts of their body to activate it. Women, it is what it is, men. We have this natural portal. It's called our womb. So that's why they have to keep holding the air in their stomach, because they're actually putting power into their womb, that portal. So in your third breath, Amy, you're going to do another, take a deep breath in, still visualizing. You're going to hold the air in the stomach as long as you can that feels safe and comfortable to you, and then you're going to expel it all out again.
Question. On the third breath, are we trying to hold it slightly deeper in
the stomach?
Like in the stomach, or even ascended down into
like this. You're going to feel the energy, the tension right here in the womb for us women, right here.
So the third breath is a little bit lower into the
Keep
womb.
bringing it in. And you're just really, what you're doing is you're holding in that breath because we're filling the womb up. That's what women's bodies are doing. Men is on a different state. For like the men, because they don't have that portal the way we do, they have to do a little bit more work to get that intention to run through every cell of their body. And so then in the third breath for the men, they have to take another extra inhalation to fill their chest because they don't have the womb portal like we do. They have to hold it for 10 seconds. Imagine, see, they have to use their visualization to build up that breath inside of them. And then they release the breath when they can't anymore. But what they're doing is that they're actually, what we're doing, this breath work in the body, women, we're creating it in our wombs. Men, they're learning it to filter throughout their entire body because they don't have the portal that we have. So they have to do their way of connecting differently than us. So even if you identify as woman, but your body is created as man, please follow the way your body vessel is designed. Okay.
So just to clarify, the second breath is kind of a little bit more in like the solar almost area where
you're going straight to the womb.
The third is more like a little lower into the
You're going to feel it. Yeah, you will feel it drop, because really essentially the first, second, and third breath and first, second, and third breath for women, we take in that deep breath in, and what we're doing is we're building the power in our womb. That's why they make you do it in 3 consecutive ways, because we have to build that momentum to create it in our portal so that we can manifest it into our reality. Now, men, the reason why they have to do more work is that they have to use their whole vessel to fill up that momentum of that manifestation. And I love that you are now acknowledging, see how beautifully you're doing naturally. You're noticing that even though it's the same technique, that it's dropping differently in the body.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So in your third breath, you take that deep breath in, you're going to hold it and then visualize. So, what does that look like to you? Feel it, right? And then if you think about it, for women who have given birth, it's very similar to create a soul to come out of the body. You're actually doing this naturally to convert the soul out of the womb into the reality of the material plane on earth. It's very interesting that we actually have to adopt this ability, whether we're giving birth or not, to manifest this into our reality. It's very interesting. Now we're going to go into the fourth breath. This is where it's going to get a little different. You're going to take that deep breath in. You're going to hold it in the air in the stomach, women. But at this time, you're going to put your hands in front of you, and you're going to imagine a ball of energy building between your hands. You're going to hold it for 10 seconds and then release the breath. So take that deep breath in, hold it in the stomach. At this time, put your hands in front of you. Imagine a ball of energy building between your hands. Hold that for about 10 seconds and release the breath. My men, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take an extra inhalation to fill the chest. And now you're going to put your hands in front of you and imagine a ball of energy building between your hands. Hold it for 10 seconds and then release the breath. You did a beautiful job. Sweetie, you're so natural. I'm so proud of you. Now we're going to go into the 5th breath. Okay. My women and men, you're going to do this, but do it differently. So before we begin, women, you will take in another deep breath. You will hold the air in your stomach. Then you will imagine the ball between your hands growing stronger. Holding this for 10 seconds and then release the air completely out of your body. So again, women, hold the air in your stomach. Imagine the ball between your hands growing stronger. You hold it for at least 10 seconds and release the air. Now, my men, we've already been practicing. You're going to take in that another deep breath in, but you have to take an extra inhalation in to fill the chest. And then you will also imagine the ball between your hands growing stronger. You hold it for 10 seconds and then you release all the air. So we're going to go ahead and take in another deep breath in. Women, hold the air in the stomach. Now I want you to imagine that ball between your hands growing stronger. You could say in your mind, it's growing stronger. My manifestation is growing stronger. And you're holding this for 10 seconds and then release all the air from your vessel. Beautiful. You are so good at this. Okay, 6th breath. So I'm going to write this down because this is a little bit more work that we're going to do here, but it's awesome. You're going to take in your last deep breath. Women, again, hold it in the air hold the air in the stomach because that's your portal. When you are on the 6th and final breath, you're going to imagine the ball of energy held between the hands become stronger and more powerful. Stronger than the 5th one, stronger than the 4th. As you near completion of holding your breath, I want you to imagine the ball of energy as it is sent into your solar plexus. Like you're putting it into your solar. That's the identity. That's the self-esteem. That's the creation that you're doing. So a lot of the times I imagine the ball of energy and I even guide it into my solar plexus. That helps me sometimes, you know. You can do it that way or just go through the visual. So you're going to imagine that stronger and more powerful, potent, that manifestation and that ball of energy. You're going to bring it into your solar plexus, okay? Then you're going to send it up from the solar plexus, from here. You're going to send it up right here through the heart, then through the throat, then through the crown, and finally to the higher self, 6 feet above your head. Okay, so I'll say that again. So you take that final deep breath, right? And you're holding that energy between your hands, even stronger and more powerful. You're really getting into your visualization, your desire that you're manifesting. And as you're near to completing that hold of your breath, you're going to imagine before you release, you're going to take that manifestation and put it into the solar plexus chakra. Then you're going to visualize. And if you need to use your hands to help you to feel it, then do it. And then move that energy up to the heart here. Move it to the throat. Bring it up through the crown. And then this is what I do. Go up. Raise that ball of energy above your head. That's about 6 feet. And imagine it. If you could say in your mind, 6 feet above my head. Then you release the air and breathe normally. You tell the higher self what you desire after that practice. You say it all in your mind. Higher self, this is what we desire. This is what we're doing. This is what we're going to have, or this is what we're having. Not gonna. This is what we're having. So after that, I'm going to show you what it looks like so that way you have an idea before we do it. So I'm going to take in my last deep breath. I'm holding it stronger and powerful. I'm thinking of what it is that I want. I'm going to bring it to my solar plexus. I'm now moving it up to my heart. moving it up to my throat. I'm taking it up to my crown. I'm going above 6 feet, and then I'm going, I'm telling my higher self what I desire. Okay. The mana, which is the air, your life force energy, your prana, is sent to the higher self along with a picture and description of what you want. What you do is you sit quietly and you send that picture encased in a shaft of pure energy. That's what you are doing. This whole thing is literally encasing that visual, that desire, of that energy. That shaft of pure energy is more of the mana force power that you have generated and are sending along with the picture to the higher self. That's why we go up. Now, put your desires into words that will tell the higher self exactly what you wish to have to bring it to you. Do not plead. Just tell it what you want it to do for you. Then you thank your higher self for bringing this request into fruition. Then I'm going to give this command to you, and it will be on the video as well. But I'm going to have you write this down because there's something about when you write it, then you just tell it. When you write it, it's your contract between you and divine. So this is what you're going to write after you've done that exercise. And we'll do the 6th breath together, of course, but write this down. It is commanded that this be done. Again, it is commanded that this be done. It is my wish. I have spoken the word. So you speak your command, right? After you've done your whole visualization. That's what you're going to say. As soon as you get up to here, you're visualizing what you want. You're going to say, it is commanded that this be done. It is my wish. I have spoken the word. And then it says, simply watch your wish come true. After you have sent your command, you will also say these words loudly and forcefully. Write this down. It is done. So be it. I have willed it with my full soul power. I have willed it with my soul full power. So again, you're up at the top. You're visualizing, you're communicating to your higher self. It is commanded that this be done. It is my wish. I have spoken the word. After you've done that, then you say, it is done. So be it. I have willed it with my full soul power. And then you're done. Pretty cool, huh? So now that you have that information, I'm going to guide you through on the 6th breath. You have it written because today is practicing how to do this. You're putting it into motion. You're doing very well, by the way. It's going through. But you're going to do this again and again and again. And this could be something, some people will do this, like the lady that I did it with. We did this together, her and I, for 6 months consistently. On her own, she would choose when I would say, okay, she would be like, when do I do this? Do I do this on this new moon? Do I do it on the full moon? Which way? Because she knew that she would amplify the power of that manifestation. I'll be like, let me check. This is the one you do it with. Go do it. So I didn't need to be there, but she would literally assign time to do this with me. And she's written a beautiful testimony for me on my review. So I'm telling you, if you believe this, you create this, you will witness literal changes within yourself and then the environment, because it's got to start with you first before it moves out into your environment. All right, sister, you got everything written down? You ready? Let's get this going. I want you to take in your last deep breath and hold the air in your stomach. And I want you to imagine that ball of energy held between the hands that's so much stronger, more powerful and potent. And as you're coming to the point of breath to release it, I want you to take that ball of energy and bring it into your solar plexus now. As you bring it to the solar plexus, you're going to start moving it up through your heart, to the throat, take it up through the crown chakra, finally to the higher self, 6 feet above your head. Release the air and breathe normally. Tell the higher self what you desire now. This beautiful, potent manifestation is encased in a shaft of pure energy. You are generating it. Think of pictures connecting to your higher self. Put your desire into the words. Do not plead. You thank your higher self for bringing this request into fruition. Good breath work. And now in your mind, you're going to speak, or you can speak this out loud if you'd like. It is commanded that this be done. It is my wish. I have spoken the word. Then I want you to say loudly, forcefully, it is done. So be it. I have willed it with my full soul power. Push that out. There you go. Beautiful, Amy. She's encasing herself in that pure energy. She's connected to her higher self. She is connected to Divine Creator. She is playing in the seventh plane because she knows that this is the instance of Divine Creator bringing forth manifestations, healings, and readings, bringing guidance to connect to your desire. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, Divine. Thank you for this connection into the seventh plane. Thank you for this powerful theta healing technique that is taking place today. It is done, and so shall it be. That's it. Woo! You did beautiful. Congratulations. And now you're going to play with those visuals, those feelings, get inspired, stay enthusiastic, whatever. I've given many different variations of ideas that could percolate in your mind of how you want to create those feelings, what you want to do. You could even have a buddy system and have a buddy to hold you accountable, right? And be like, okay, when we're out and I'm saying I want to do this, but I really want to stay on this, I want you to be like, hey, well, let's try this instead. Let's do this instead. Instead of blowing all your money tonight at the shopping center, why don't we go ahead and let's go do maybe something at the house? Maybe we can watch a movie. Let's do our own little facials. Let's put that money away so that way you can get towards this goal. Take a portion of that. Okay, so instead of dropping a whole hundy spot today, I'll only use 20 and I'll put the rest away towards my goal. All right, I'll do that. But you're making yourself accountable. So then Divine goes, I am pleased because you are really making some actions and efforts. You are putting it into real existence, and I will bless you for fruition of that desire. But if we do nothing, it's like if my kids were saying, yeah, Mom, I swear I'm going to throw out the trash. I swear I'll do it. But the trash is like building up. Now it's on the floor. I'm going to be upset because they said they were going to do it. They promised me that they were going to do it. And they could have done it, but they decided to do whatever else that they wanted to do, whether it was necessary or not. It doesn't take very long for them to put some time into that effort. And so because of it, now I'm going to be mad. There's going to be some ramifications and they're not going to get whatever they are trying to create with me. I'm not going to do it because I'm like, why? You put no effort. Why should I? So you see what I'm saying? How we work in this coexistence? Tell me, Amy, what was that like for you?
Yeah, it was really cool. Like I can feel it like swirling in me. like even from the very first time we went up and you said drop in that feeling, from that moment, from about like high heart to about between sacral and solar,
yeah,
I feel this like swirling, and
right?
It's been going like the entire time, and I
Awesome.
feel like it was kind of like this gentle, and like as the more we've been doing this, it's beginning like it's stronger and stronger. Right now it's like I just feel this intense
All this energy
like, swirling inside, like right in the center of my being, like, and it's so cool. And again, like even just sending that up, I feel all that swirl in my head, like I always feel like
yes.
it's like that affirmation to me that like the energy's flowing, it's moving, things are happening. Like I love when I can feel it in my body, because it just, not that I don't believe, but it's like like that one extra little level of like, oh, I feel something happening here. It's not just like going through the motions. It's like, oh, I'm feeling something. And so for me, I love when I feel that.
I love that. And now imagine you doing this, because now you already know how to do this, and practicing this fluidly. This is you learning, as I did many years ago, how to break it up, because the brain is creating right now what you just did. Why we did this breaking it up is you just programmed your brain right now. So when you do this again, your brain goes, oh, we've already done this. That's what I love about the brain. The brain's, it's magnificent. It's such an amazing, to me, it is the actual being. Okay, I feel like our brain, like I think about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know I'm such a kid. I always mention stuff like this, but what's his name? I think it's Brainiac or whatever his name is. He's a brain in the guy's stomach. It's like a robot. And he's like the bad guy. And that's how I really feel like the brain was in the stomach of the guy that's with
Crane.
I think it's Crane. I think you're right. Oh, shoot, I'm catching up. Like, but you'll know what I mean. And what I thought was so funny as a kid, the brain animated the body. was all the brain work. And I go, oh my gosh, as I grew up and I started practicing theta healing, and I mean, I'm so fascinated with the brain that I even have my my crystal. It's not the apophyllite, it's the other scalabite, I think. I got this, and when I saw this, I go, oh my gosh, because I started working with theta healing when I found this, and I was like, this is mine. And I really feel that way, that it's our brain that animates all these things to happen. And when you learn how to really refine that connection to your brain waves, you really start shifting the way you think, the way you believe, the way you act, the what you do. And it really does set you into a path of progression. And that's why I love it so much. That's why I connect. That's why in my office, I use those two, like a husband and wife or partners. You know, it's just so together, elemental wise, it's just potent. So that's why I said you could even, and if you're not attuned to Reiki and you have other modalities, you know, check energetically if you could utilize it to also back it up. And if not, then just stick with the theta healing. Learn that practice of knowing your brain can actually create. It's amazing. You have to imagine, I mean, again, going back to someone that created a world on this planet was all based upon imagination. And now we're watching, people are invested into this amusement park, invested into the videos, the costumes, they'll act out, they'll even have weddings based upon this thing. Again, because this founder knew that the imagination led you to a destination, truly. So that is truly the magic. When you can tap into that part of your brain, honey, you can do some amazing things. Maybe you can't grow some wings physically, but you can get yourself energetically to feel like you are able to soar above your issues. That in itself is like creating wings. So it's quite fascinating. I love doing this technique. I enjoyed sharing this with you. Amy, I'm so proud of you for this is you showing that you have created, you are literally taking charge of your destiny. That's what you're doing. With this technique, you are taking charge of your destiny. Then you know by you practicing this that you are on the right track, because remember, it holds you accountable. The brain will hold you accountable the more you practice this, because it's like, no. We said we're going to get this. So we're going to get there. And if you start doing this, we can't get there. We're just going to hold ourselves back. So then you're going to be like, consciously, you'll make the decision, be like, you're right. All right, I'll pivot, I'll change, you're right, let's change the direction. And you start learning how to release the past that held you bound from not being able to accomplish said goals. And then what ends up happening through this technique, you start believing in yourself. When you start to believe in yourself, guess what happens? You start to value yourself. Then guess what happens? As you believe in yourself and you value yourself, guess what? Others start to value you too. Because they go, whoa, how does Amy do these things? What is she doing so differently? And then what happens through theta healing that I absolutely love, you become very confident. When you start becoming confident, you start realizing those doubts, those fears, the despair that the humans usually resonate with day-to-day interactions of crap that we deal with. You start becoming more powerful. You become more motivated. And then you start to shift into a state of radiant, healthy, harmonious, smooth transitions. But you see how there are little steps to get there. And if you practice this more and more, and it becomes a part of your life, all of a sudden, when you started thinking it was impossible, you know it's possible. You don't know maybe all the details to get there, but there's this little faith of a mustard seed inside of you that you know it's possible, and you start moving the mountains in your life. And then you create your reality.